From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Welcome to Local 4 Live, everybody. We are in a forewarned weather alert because of the dangerous cold that we have outside. A live look over downtown Detroit right now. It is just 5 degrees, feels more like -14. Forward meteorologist Ashley Barrissey is tracking today's cold temperatures and how they are going to go throughout the rest of the week. So let's head around the metro area to Livingston County right now. A live look at Mount Brighton. If you're looking to hit the slopes, you can try to keep warm. It's 7 degrees, but feels more like -11. And checking in at Metro Airport, there are currently 74 delays and 48 cancellations at Metro. Across the country, there are 970 delays and more than 1,700 cancellations right now. Well, thank you for joining us for Local 4 Live. I'm Nick Monticelli. If you are taking us on the go with that Click on Detroit app, make sure you are warming up the car and bundling up. It is incredibly cold outside right now. More than 100 schools are closed for those cold conditions. Among those closures, Detroit Public Schools, Westwood Schools, and Ecor Schools. So the frigid temperatures are here to stay for the rest of the week. Ashley Barrissey is here. You know, a lot of people I've heard comments, or I should say I read comments because they're keyboard warriors, you know, talking about when they get frustrated when schools close because they're inside. What's the big deal? Well, they don't consider that they're going to be outside of the bus stop. So you have to walk to and from school. Right. There's a lot more to consider. Plus, I know we don't have much snow in the forecast at this point, but we didn't plow a whole lot of those roads for quite some time, so even school buses had a hard time getting through.
That's right, and you know, it's going to be even colder by the end of the week, and so for folks thinking, oh my goodness, we're towards the cap of the days, and you know, if they feel like we're just wasting them, it's not necessarily wasted, right? Because you deal with the threat of hypothermia and frostbite for these kids, and the safety is the #1 concern. And so, yeah, we do have that cold weather persisting today. We've seen a little improvement since we joined you at 4:30 this morning. I'll say, I think my earliest check, we were about 18 below zero at Metro Airport. Now we're 12 below. So we're going in the right direction. It's just incredibly slow. You have to be patient. And I get it. I mean, it feels like we have just been stuck in the deep freeze. And we're going to talk more about that as we look at the calendar for the month of January and where we kind of stack up and how it's all been going from snow to the cold, because it has been a very cold and snowy January. But getting back to the here and now, that cold weather advisory for 2 more hours, and we'll start to climb out of at least the negative double digits for that feels like temperature. But it's brutal. I mean, that air is painful if you're outside for just a short amount of time. Been keeping a close eye on the Metro Airport camera. Right now, it doesn't appear to be shaking too much, but we have seen that camera shake throughout the morning, where at one point sustained winds were around 20 miles per hour. So they've tapered off a little bit, but actual air temperatures are reading in the single digits. However, you factor in that stronger brisk wind, and it makes it feel like those negative temperatures for wind chills. 18 is the afternoon high under mostly cloudy skies. You could have a couple flakes flying here and there, which we've had a few down south into Lenawee and Monroe counties, but this is where we're at over the next week, rounding out the month of January, where we'll have highs in the low double digits. And Friday morning in particular, Nick, we're waking up to sub-zero air temperatures and probably at least 20 degrees below zero with the wind chill.
So that's the air temperatures are below.
Right. And so that's why I'm saying for folks that, you know, maybe didn't call school today, I think that there are probably a lot of superintendents and districts looking at Friday's forecast knowing it's going to be worse than what we had today.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I would say thanks, but
I'm with you. I know. Can we just be like bears and hibernate until the weather gets nicer?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, it's not your fault. I keep that in mind. Thanks, Ash. With that cold temperature causing some problems for Detroiters in one east side neighborhood, those living on Barlow near 8 Mile and Groesbeck are waking up to a wet and freezing mess. As Shante Passmore is showing us, this water main break is making it difficult for cars to pass.
Hey there, with each passing moment, we're starting to get a better idea of what's happening here as far as how much this water is rising, where it's spreading. In fact, you can see right here off in the distance, that is the water we believe is coming from a water main break. We are waiting to get confirmation if that is the case here. In fact, just a few yards away, you can see just how high the water has risen thus far along those trash cans right there. And off in the distance, one got knocked to its side right there. Earlier this morning, we actually saw at least 2 cars, including a Detroit police cruiser, stuck in this intersection in this neighborhood. We did see that the police car got towed away, but then the woman and the other sedan actually was just waiting for roadside assistance or perhaps a family to come help her out. So our photojournalist Eric Lewis, alongside some neighbors and 2 of the Detroit officers, helped her get out of this icy intersection. It took a little bit, but she gained some traction and she got on her way. She told me she was simply just getting off of work and was trying to go home and decided to use this as a cut through. And then she found herself in a bit of trouble. Now, it's not clear how long the water has been rising here, if other areas in this neighborhood could be a concern, if they could be at risk of what we're seeing here. But we do have two Detroit officers, or two Detroit police cruisers, I should say, that are blocking the intersection to make sure that people are aware of what's happening here. As soon as we learn more, we'll pass it to you on air and, of course, on clickondetroit.com. We're on the city's east side. Shantae Passmore, Local 4.
All right, Shantae, thank you so much. And because of these frigid temperatures, many cities across our area are offering places to warm up for those needing shelter. Over at clickondetroit.com, we have a list of all those offering those shelters from Detroit, Warren, Farmington Hills, and more. Also, those in Detroit needing shelter after 6 p.m. can call the Detroit Housing Resource Helpline. That information is available 24 hours a day. And make sure you have that Forewarn Weather app at the ready today and the rest of the week. It's going to send you alerts directly to your phone when there's an advisory in your community. You also have access to Exact Track 4D radar anytime when you are on the go. Let's take a live look over Minneapolis right now, where there are growing calls for a new approach to the federal immigration crackdown in Minnesota. As a response, the White House has pulled Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino out of Minneapolis, and the president's border czar Tom Homan is in. Here's Reed Binion with more.
He's sending in his top guard, and really it's escalating because we just want to be left alone.
City and state leaders in Minnesota, as well as residents in Minneapolis, reacting to news the Trump administration is changing its immigration enforcement leadership in the city.
Good riddance. Couldn't have came sooner.
This amid growing outcry after federal agents shot and killed protester Alex Preddy on Saturday. President Donald Trump signaling new willingness to work with Democratic state officials. Trump said Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called him, saying, quote, "It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength." Walz described the call as productive and said the president agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey said he also spoke with Trump and told the president his main request is that the immigration crackdown in the city be brought to an end. Meanwhile, some who witnessed Preddy's killing are sharing more details about what they saw.
I mean, the thing that stood out to me was that he was calm. There was no way that he was the one escalating this.
Amid ongoing protests and the growing memorials to Preddy, there was also a heartening moment of kindness as some Minnesota National Guard members handed out donuts and coffee to protesters.
I think that's true Minnesota energy. This is all about community.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
And here at home, ICE agents are banned from entering county-owned buildings without a warrant. You can see protesters gathering to support the change last night. County employees are also banned from cooperating with ICE unless required by law. The resolution was created with the help of activists, including the group Movement for Immigrant Rights Action.
It's a basic way of telling ICE that we will not cooperate with the illegal and cruel practices that they have been doing.
Anywhere we can protect people and allow them to be safe within their own communities is a win.
All right, so this change went into effect for Washtenaw County. Now, we reached out to the office of Ann Arbor Mayor Christopher Taylor to ask if similar action is being considered at the city level, and we're waiting to hear back. You can find all of our coverage from Minneapolis on our website at clickondetroit.com. Happening soon, the trial for the man accused of killing Dee Warner will start. Dale Warner is accused of killing Dee in 2021 and hiding her body inside of a tank on his property. Jury selection is expected to start today after months of delays and motions from the defense to delay the case. In the next half hour, we're going to take a look back at the case and remind you how we got to today. All right, we know these bitter cold temperatures are impacting us right now, but there is another issue that can be incredibly dangerous. Taking a live look at Lake St. Clair and Algonac next, we're talking about how you can stay safe if you're going to go out on the ice during these cold temperatures. Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a live look at Charlottetown on Prince Island along the Atlantic coast of Canada. Areas over there are now getting hit with that same weather that we saw for the past couple of days, so good luck to you. People there could see several different weather conditions, from freezing rain and ice to heavy snow and strong winds. And take a look at this right here, Louisiana. Louisiana State Patrol dashcam video capturing the moment an ice-covered tree comes crashing down. The freezing temperatures down there weighed the tree down, and it snapped, and as you saw, fell to the ground there. You know, there were a lot of stories and alerts here about the potential for exploding trees because of the cold.
Right.
At first I was like, what? Doesn't make any sense. And then I started understanding there's science behind it.
There is, and it's not like they just explode into smithereens. I mean, they crack.
They just pop open.
Right. I mean, essentially ice cracking, but nonetheless, it makes that sound like a gunshot,
right.
And it can be startling. And it's not a common phenomenon, but I mean, you go up north and you'll experience it more than you experience it here. But yeah, there is that science behind it. The sap inside freezing, any moisture within the tree.
So we're talking Friday, we could have a little more of that action then?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, especially with actual air temperatures dipping close to 10 below zero. So cold weather advisory for all of us until 10 a.m. I will say for the ice cracking, I think the threshold, scientifically speaking, is about 20 below zero without a wind chill. So that's why the UP and stuff gets that a little bit more than us. But yeah, we're back sub-zero with overnight lows heading into the later part of the week and the weekend. But that advisory will lift in less than 2 hours as we're starting to just just climbing in the right direction.
It's getting warmer.
Yes. 12 below zero for the feels like temperature at Metro Airport. Congratulations. But yeah, that is actually improvement from earlier today. And you look up towards Lapeer, 5 below zero for the wind chill. So not nearly as brutal as that 20 to 25 below that we've experienced. But air temperature is still pretty much hovering in the single digits. You head up towards Flint, 10. And we will be in the teens today, but likely still feeling sub-zero. So just quickly stopping the clock, excuse me, in less than 2 hours, where we'll be sub-zero when that advisory lifts. And then we hang tight there by tomorrow morning, back to about 5 to 20 below zero across southeast Michigan, and staying sub-zero even in the afternoon. So we just don't really experience a whole lot of relief. And the cold is gripping the nation. You can see from the light blue to the dark blue, those are all cold weather alerts, from advisories to warnings. And I mean, hundreds of millions of people that are impacted by this cold. So not just those of us here in southeast Michigan. I mean, we're talking all the way towards New Mexico and most of Texas and into Florida. So the temperature setup has to do with what the buzz term is polar vortex. Essentially, it's the polar jet stream dropping farther south and bringing us below average temperatures from the Great Lakes all the way down to the south and the eastern portion of the U.S. So we're in good company, if you look at it that way. But we will be rounding out the month below average. So all those blue boxes on the calendar indicate below average days. We had, a handful of days. Really, it was just that first full week of January into that second week where we had a stretch of days that were above average, and then boom, I mean, it's just been bitterly cold. And let's go ahead and take a look at satellite radar, where we have those lake effect snow bands on the west side of the state that have just pumped in a few of those light flurries across portions of southeast Michigan. But looking at Exact Track 4D, most of what was south into Monroe and Lenawee County is pushed south of the state line. But we do have a little bit that is developed north of Waterford into the Thumb region. So there's another look that what we had down into the southern area of south of I-94 is now essentially drying out. So sub-zero wind chills today will only top out in the teens. We get a little clearing later on tonight. It's brief, and then we will have maybe a few more flakes flying going into tomorrow. So for today, I won't rule out another flake or two this afternoon with some lake effect snow bands that could push into the area. That was the brief clearing that we just saw through the overnight, and then tomorrow afternoon, maybe a flurry or two, but just doesn't amount to a whole lot of accumulation. Let me show you what's happening along the eastern seaboard. And so this is a long-range model. We're going to zip through the rest of the week, but we will stop the clock this weekend. That's another potent low pressure system that could bring another measurable snow along the eastern seaboard. So if you have travel plans this weekend, keep a very close eye on how that system develops, because it could be another whopper of a winter storm for certain areas of the country. Here close to home, though, we just hover on either side of 20 this weekend. But really the biggest day that we need to be paying attention to will be Friday morning, 7 below zero without a wind chill, 20 below zero, if not even colder come Friday morning, which will likely result in some school closings. If we saw some today, you have to imagine you're going to see at least that come Friday.
I guess this is what we get for having that nice mild start to winter.
I know. But you know what else I've seen when you talk about keyboard warriors? But I mean, I agree with these ones. Look, we had a green Christmas. If we're going to deal with all this snow and all this cold, why didn't we not have at least a white Christmas?
I guess that's a fair point.
I know. I can understand the frustration.
Santa could still land without the snow.
That's true, but we just want to see some festive flakes. Now it's behind us.
Festive flakes. All right. Thanks, Ash. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Happening soon, the trial for the man accused of killing Dee Warner will begin. Dale Warner is accused of killing Dee in 2021 and hiding her body inside of a tank on his property. Jury selection is starting today after months of delays and motions from the defense to delay that case. Our Lauren Kostick dug into that case going back several years.
She was a mother of 5 who just vanished. Her body discovered years later, not far from home. April 25th, 2021. 52-year-old Dee Warner vanished from her home on Munger Road in Franklin Township.
Well, I don't know if she's missing or if she just left.
She told friends she planned to meet her husband, Dale Warner, and was never seen again.
Began in Franklin Township in Lenawee County, where state police, the FBI, and the Lenawee County Sheriff's Office are searching fields in connection to a woman who went missing earlier this year.
This really hits close to home. There's a lot of people that this has impacted.
Family had their suspicions, but for years no one knew what really happened. The search went on, family held out hope, and investigators dug up countless properties. In August 2022, Michigan State Police took over the investigation from the Lenawee County Sheriff's Office. Then, in November 2023, without a body, Dale Warner was arrested.
Dale Warner, the husband of Dee Warner, has been formally charged with her murder.
Who would have ever thought that in this little tiny town, on this little country road, that we'd have to be talking about a murder?
Attorneys believed they could prove Dee was dead and Dale was responsible.
One of the last things that my mom said to me was, I watch Dateline like every night and he could do something like that to me.
She's gone. She took all her bags.
Body camera video released in court showed police questioning Dale the day after Dee's disappearance. Dale acted as if nothing unusual happened.
So somebody picked her up. So she's with someone somewhere.
But the most chilling discovery was yet to come. On August 16, 2024, state police found human remains hidden inside a sealed tank on Dale's property.
The human remains found on Dale Warner's property were that of his wife, Dee Warner.
Days later, dental records would confirm the remains were Dee's. Dee's brother, Greg Hardy, gave Local 4 an exclusive look inside the barn where she was found.
These are the type of tanks they are. And if you'll notice, there's a seam right here, okay? And that appears to be where the seam was cut, and then this cap taken off, and then her body put in that way.
The case grew darker in March 2025 when Dale's son, Jaron Warner, was arrested for tampering with evidence and being an accessory, though charges were dropped in May. Over the months, Dale's defense team filed several motions to slow the case, including a request to move the trial out of the county, but that was denied.
Significant community opinion that appears to exist to a large part to Mr. Warner's detriment.
Now, 5 years later, Dale Warner is finally set to face a long-awaited murder trial, a trial that promises to unravel years of secrets.
And that was Lauren Kosnick reporting. Our investigators have tracked this case from the beginning. She's actually going to break down this case in a special report showing how it finally made it to trial. You can find Deadly Premonition streaming now on Local 4 Plus and on clickondetroit.com. Lauren will also join us in a few minutes live as she heads to court for jury selection. We're going to come back with Local 4 update in just a minute. Keep it right here on Local 4 Plus. Good morning, everybody. I'm Nick Monticelli with a Local 4 News update. The Dee Warner murder trial is set to begin today with jury selection. It's been almost 5 years since Dee vanished from her home. Her husband, Dale, is charged with murder and tampering with evidence. In 2024, investigators found Dee's body on Dale's property, where prosecutors say he hid her inside of an ammonia tank on his property. Also, another 90 minutes of Local 4 Live happening with your big headlines and more conversations. Detroit Mayor Mary Sheffield is going to be here talking about her first month in office and a new plan to help our most vulnerable Detroiters. And we are 2 weeks out from the Olympic torch lighting up the Winter Games. We're looking at a cross-country skier pushing her mind and body to the limits for those games. And Ashley has a look at your forecast in just a few minutes. Keep it right here on Local 4 and Local 4 Plus.
Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
And that forewarned weather alert is because of the dangerous cold all throughout Metro Detroit. A live look at downtown Detroit. It is just 7 degrees, feels more like -10. Forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barrissey is tracking today's cold temperatures, how long they're going to last and how low they're going to go. Let's look at Oakland County right now. A live look at Mount Holly. If you're looking to hit the slopes, you could do so. Just try to keep warm. It's 10 degrees, but it feels more like -5. And over at DTW, there are currently 87 delays and 48 cancellations at the airport. Welcome back to Local 4 Live. If you are taking us on the go with the Click Out Detroit app, make sure you're warming up and the car has some extra blankets just in case, because it is very, very cold outside. Right now, more than 100 schools are closed because of these cold conditions. Among those closures, Detroit Public Schools, Westwood Schools, Ecor Schools, and many, many more. Ashley Barrissey here to explain why, and it's simply because it's just too dangerous to be outside. The kiddos at the bus stop, they're walking to school. Frostbite can happen in what, 10 minutes?
Yeah,
less?
about 10 minutes or probably less if you're not properly protecting your skin. And so, yeah, it's dangerous for the kids. I mean, you know, kids like to wear shorts and flip-flops year round. And so you have to be like, come on, like, let's be safe here. So, yeah, there are some school districts, as you mentioned, that are closed. I think you'll see more of those closings by the end of the week as we get another bout of even more dangerously cold wind chills that could be worse than what we experienced today. So, I mean, I want to, like, you know, raise the white flag and be like, I'm done with the cold.
You win.
You know, it's not even the fact that we've had snow. I mean, the kids just can't even go out and enjoy and play in it when it's this cold. So 12 below right now at Metro Airport for that feels like temperature. We're anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees below zero with the wind chill. So we're certainly going in the right direction as we were near 20 degrees below zero earlier this morning. That cold weather advisory set to expire in just under an hour and a half, and that's for all of southeastern Michigan. But worth noting, you'll likely see another bout of these type advisories issued come Thursday and Friday. It's just not officially been set from the National Weather Service. So we're looking at that deep freeze continuing. And the camera even just looks frozen. I mean, if it could look frozen out there, I mean, we have a little bit lower visibility as we've had a few flakes fly here and there. But overall, some blowing snow with the stronger winds, and that's led to the really cold wind chills. The actual air temperatures are at least above 0. I mean, we are in the single digits and close to 10 in Grosse Ile. But as we look at your hourly forecast, we'll be right around 18 for that afternoon high under mostly cloudy skies with a couple little flurry chances that could work their way in with some lake effect snow bands a little later this afternoon. Little sneak peek at what's ahead. We stay in the teens for highs through Thursday, probably not even getting into the teens come Friday. And that's because we're starting off 7 below 0 without a wind chill Friday. So I do think we get more school closings by Friday morning, and we're still going to be below average through the weekend. We'll talk about how long this is set to last in your 7-day forecast.
Feels like forever.
I know. When will it be spring? When will it be spring?
Maybe
Never.
in June.
Maybe, if we're lucky.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Ash. Well, many cities across this area are offering places to warm up for those needing some shelter. Over at clickondetroit.com, we have information on warming shelters in Detroit, Warren, Farmington Hills, and more. Also, those in Detroit needing shelter after 6 p.m. can call the Detroit Housing Resource Helpline for information. You can call that number 24 hours a day. And also make sure you have the Forewarn Weather app at the ready today. It's going to send you alerts directly to your phone when there is an advisory in your community. You also have access to that exact Track 40 radar anytime while you're on the go. Well, happening very soon, the trial for the man accused of killing Dee Warner will begin. Dale Warner is accused of killing Dee in 2021 and hiding her body inside of a tank on his property. Jury selection is expected to start soon after months of delays and motions from the defense to delay that case. Local 4 investigator Lauren Kostick is actually on the road right now all the way out to Lenawee County. She is in the passenger seat, not driving and zooming at the same time. Lauren, what do you think we can expect today, especially with jury selection? And Lenawee County is a smaller county, and it's kind of one of those places where everybody knows everybody. So picking a jury could take some time.
Yeah, that's really been the big talk of jury selection is how are you going to find a jury that doesn't already have an opinion about this case? That's something the defense and the prosecution, they've been talking about during this whole process. Because remember, the judge denied a change of venue. That's something the defense really pushed for. So we are told 700 notices have been put out for people to appear for jury duty this week. That is a lot of people here in Lenawee County that will be showing up to the courthouse. And we also were told this will be extensive questioning, trying to find those jurors that don't already have an opinion about this case. Right. 'Cause like you said, this has been 5 years this has been going on, and this has been one of the biggest cases here in Lenawee County.
So I know you're on your way to the courthouse and you have a much better kind of feel for things once you get there. But normally jury selection takes half a morning, maybe a day. Yeah. We're talking probably 2 or 3 days, if not more, right?
Yeah, they've even told us several days. I know according to the court filing, they have it in for 2 weeks. So this is going to be a very lengthy, very detailed process. I know some of the questions definitely will be talking about the publicity of this case, some media coverage leading up during those pretrial hearings. Also, their views of domestic violence, their background in farming and welding. Sure. So some very detailed questions, and we're definitely going to be learning a lot more today on what we can expect.
Right. Okay, so looking at the preliminary exams that happened in district court before this was moved up to circuit court, we saw a lot of evidence. We saw body cam video. Do you anticipate we'll see a lot more of that again today? Or once the trial actually starts, I should say?
Yes, I think once the trial starts, those opening statements, that will be a big part. The body camera footage was, I know the stuff we saw during the preliminary hearing was body camera footage of Dale Warner being questioned by a detective just a day after Dee went missing. So that will be a big part of the case. Also, a lot of the witnesses, family members, the original detectives on the case from the Lenawee County Sheriff's Office, also state police, they were involved in this investigation. So it's going to be very interesting and a very long trial, that is.
Yeah. Okay. Lauren, thank you so much for your insight. And please tell photographer Mike to try to avoid all the potholes. It seems like he's bouncing around quite a bit there.
I know. It's very icy, too. So be safe out there.
Mike loves being on TV. Hi, Mike.
He does. Nick says hi.
All right, Lauren, thank you so much. Switching gears here, the fight over a new data center happening in Macomb County. What the township supervisor is saying about a meeting that's happening tonight, plus a live look over Minneapolis right now. Next, a closer look at the changes coming to ICE and Border Patrol following the death of 37-year-old Alex Preddy. Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a live look now in Minneapolis. Big changes coming to Border Patrol in that area. Commander Greg Bovino is headed out this week, and the number of Customs and Border Patrol agents in that area set to drop, according to sources. This comes after a border agent shot and killed Alex Preddy, and videos have raised questions about the official story. Now Republicans are pushing for a full, transparent investigation and more oversight. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Hi there. Key changes in the Trump administration's strategy in Minneapolis come amid bipartisan backlash over the city's second killing this month of an American citizen by federal law enforcement, though the White House remains focused on its immigration crackdown. ICE, ICE will be beat. A shifting landscape in Minneapolis this morning, where the outcry over federal agents shooting 37-year-old Alex Preddy to death is prompting the Trump administration to shake up its leadership on the ground and reduce the number of Border Patrol agents there. That's according to an administration official and a law enforcement source. State and local officials have been pressing for a federal agent pullout.
What justifies this disproportionate flood? Nothing legitimate.
The White House confirming Border Czar Tom Homan will now head up operations in Minneapolis, with the controversial Border Patrol commander Greg Bovino moving out, according to two sources, and the administration defending its top Homeland Security leadership.
Secretary Noem still has the utmost confidence and trust of the President of the United States.
DHS Secretary Noem now scheduled to testify on Capitol Hill amid mounting bipartisan frustration. Republican Senator John Curtis saying he disagreed with Noem's, quote, premature DHS response before all the facts were known in the Preddy shooting, weakening confidence, he says. A growing number of GOP lawmakers calling for an independent investigation as multiple cell phone videos verified and analyzed by NBC News contradict the Trump administration's initial description, suggesting Preddy was a domestic terrorist. Local officials say he was legally carrying his gun. Outside the Minneapolis VA hospital, where Preddy worked as an ICU nurse, a growing memorial and mounting grief from past patients.
He held my hand and he told me things were going to get better.
That now a devout wish for a city in turmoil.
In a major shift in tone, President Trump is now suggesting he could work with Democratic officials in Minnesota after calls with the governor and Minneapolis mayor, both of whom he's been slamming for weeks. They have been at odds. The Democrats saying the president agreed the situation on the ground cannot continue. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
Alice, thank you. Happening tonight in Macomb County in Chesterfield Township. They're looking to get ahead of the data center debate. The township is holding their regular meeting tonight, and they plan to listen to the community and try to get some idea of what the rules could be. I talked to the township supervisor about if there are any plans for data centers right now.
As of right now, we have not been approached by anybody. There is not a proposal for it. And as I said, at a recent SEMCOG meeting, Southeastern Michigan Council of Government, this was a topic. But again, we weren't identified either by DT or any other vendor that may come in.
All right, tonight's meeting is at 7 p.m. at the Chesterfield Township Municipal Offices. That's on Sugar Bush Road. The board says they welcome comments from everybody on this matter to get a better idea of how the community feels about it. There are no set scheduled presentations from anybody proposing a data center or DTE. A chaotic incident at Detroit Metro Airport went viral, and it's raising major security questions. That's a live look at the airport right now. I do want to show you a video of the car crashing through the Delta terminal. This happened just outside of the ticket counter area. The driver was quickly taken into custody and is believed to have been experiencing a mental health crisis. 6 people were treated for minor injuries, but nobody was seriously hurt. Now many wondering how the driver got through metal posts along the front entrance.
I was shocked. I mean, I don't know how fast a guy could have been going to get there. I mean, he would have to turn and then go straight through. So it's like how that even played out just shocks me. I mean, I don't even know how this all happened. It's just crazy.
Now, in a statement, a spokesperson with the airport authority said as a result of this incident, the Wayne County Airport Authority is reviewing our security and safety measures and will make any improvements or adjustments as necessary. As for the driver, the prosecutor's office is waiting to review the case and decide if he will face any charges. Well, the Arctic chill not going away anytime soon. Ashley will be back with a check of your frigid forecast and why Friday could be another cold weather day in school. Plus, a live look now at producer Mary's favorite place, Mackinac Island. And last week's freezing temperatures broke some records in the state. We're going to take a look at where some of the coldest spots were when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. A live look now at Mount Zion near Ironwood. Right now it is 0 degrees. It feels like negative 22. But over the weekend, the area actually broke a record for the coldest recorded temperatures. The Ironwood area over the weekend felt like negative 30. And that was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Another area that set a record, Marquette, with negative 27 degrees. Ashley Barassi is here. It feels like you've never left, to be honest with you. So, you know, schools have a set number of snow days that they're allowed to give out. Do you have a set number of forewarned weather alert days that you're allowed to issue?
We certainly have exceeded that this month. I wish we did, especially when it has to do with the cold. You know, like it's not even fun.
Right?
Now it's just like, it's cold and it's cold and it's a little more snowy and it's cold. And it's been so cold that our snow hasn't melted.
But it's actually, in my opinion, it's a very good thing because you're letting people know that this isn't just cold.
Right.
This is dangerous cold.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, like our threshold would be more when we get into the lines of what like the cold weather advisory is with the National Weather Service, those dangerous wind chills. Right. But I do want to start off with some interesting data because what I've been getting a lot of questions about is, you know, have we had more snow this winter? Like this winter just seems so much worse than like the last several winters. And temperature-wise, sure, I mean, it's been brutal. But check this out. At this point last year, now meteorologically speaking, we measure winter December, January, February. So December 1st starts the winter season for record keeping. So last year, from December 1st through January 26th, we had just over a foot of snow that had fallen. This year, that same time frame, over 27 inches, more than double the amount of snow so far this season. And Nick, that's not even encompassing November. If you recall, right around Thanksgiving, we had snow.
That's right.
So we came up just shy of 6 inches of snow for the month of November this past year. So if you threw that in the mix for just like the overall season, I mean, we're talking more than 33 inches of snow. Normal for this point would be just about 20.5 inches. So we are more than a half foot above average.
So the answer is yes, it has been worse.
It has been worse. And it's not just the fact that we've gotten more snow. Typically we go in cycles in the winter where you have the snow and then, you know, it'll melt and then you get another fresh snow. Our snow depth right now at Metro Airport's 9 inches because it just has nowhere to go. It's so cold.
Get rid of that stuff.
I know, so it's almost like we have a foot just sitting around. I get it. It could be worse. It could be like the folks in the UP.
Right,
so
there's negative 30.
Right.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and they have like snow up to their windows. But yeah, cold weather advisory until 10 o'clock. So we're close to 9, about an hour left of that cold weather advisory. But don't get too excited. We're likely going to see another one of those issued by the end of the week. So maybe we get a day off from a forewarned weather alert. Wouldn't that be nice? Wind chill readings right now are anywhere from about 5 to 12 below zero across southeastern Michigan. Better than 20 below zero, which we were close to through the overnight and early this morning. But air temperatures are still hovering in the single digits in a lot of spots. As far as the wind chill forecast, so we will still be sub-zero within the next hour, and we kind of hang tight there. At best, we get close to zero this afternoon, but by tomorrow morning, we're right back at 10 to 20 below zero with the wind chill. And in the afternoon, once again, probably not getting to that 0 degree mark for the feels like temperature. So the cold really has a good grip on the nation. Winter weather alerts really are mostly cold weather alerts in the light blue and dark blue that you see there. I was doing a quick search with some data, and that comes in at over 200 million people impacted by cold weather alerts across the country. So that temperature setup has to do with the polar vortex or that polar jet stream dropping farther south, bringing below average conditions from the upper Midwest and really the northern plains down into the deep south and along the east coast. So more than half of the nation below average for today. Our high temperature trends, we talked a lot about, you know, the snow as far as just how much we've had for the season, but check out all the blue on the calendar here. Most of the month has come in below average. We had just about a week and a half stretch above average that included a record high day, if you recall. And then, I mean, it has just been in the deep freeze since then. Satellite radar, we have those lake effect bands persisting on the west side of the state, which we've had a little bit of that across town, especially to our north. We've dried out to the south, and so you might see a flake or two fly. We top out around the teens today with some sub-zero wind chills hanging tight. You might get another flake or two tomorrow, but really it's the cold that'll be the headline. So by Friday morning, 7 below zero without the wind chill, feeling like 20 below zero with the wind chill, and highs struggling to get into the double digits. So I think we see some cold weather alerts issued probably for Thursday, definitely for Friday, and we'll have to see if we get more school closings out of it. But I would say the criteria certainly, I mean, we're colder Friday than what we have today.
What I'm trying to figure out, is why the air conditioning just kicked down here in the studio.
Oh,
it's
we ask that
freezing
all the
right
time.
now.
I know. But just remember when you're out in the field and all of us in the studio would say, it's cold in the studio, and you'd be like, wait a second.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know,
Yeah.
so we always have to be.
It's negative 30 here.
We have to be humble about it. But yes, the AC is on in here. Go figure.
All right, thanks, Ash. 10 days until the Olympic torch is lit and the Winter Games begin. Next, we're heading to the mountains to get a look at one often looked over sport, cross-country skiing. Welcome back, everybody. We are counting down to the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. She is one of the toughest athletes on the planet and one of the most often talking about what it takes to get there. Olympic cross-country skier Jessie Diggins says the pain never goes away, but the joy is what pushes her through it.
A lot of people say, how can you be so happy and then be in so much pain? And I can assure you I'm not happy to be in pain, but they are kind of this great inverse relationship where the happier I am in my everyday life, that's when I can really push into the pain cave.
To the roar of the crowd of her home World Cup, Diggins gets to the podium.
I'm Jessie Diggins. I'm a cross-country skier, and I'm from Afton, Minnesota.
Here comes Diggins! Here comes Diggins!
And it is Jessie Diggins! Oh! The first ever cross-country gold medal for the U.S. Jessie Diggins bursting to the finish line when she was running on empty, totally exhausted.
This sport is so demanding. I mean, it takes everything that you have. So for me, the biggest why is because I want to see what I'm actually made of.
Jessie just so gritty. This is the kind of race that she is going to just mentally put herself into.
When your legs are on fire and your lungs are screaming and your brain is signaling that you should stop, I want to see if I'm tough enough to keep moving forward.
Diggins dazzling once again towards a new level of Olympic greatness.
I'm really excited to keep inspiring people in different ways, with my story, with my words. And you know, if I really miss that total body burn to the point of collapse, I can always go take my stopwatch and go out in the woods and time trial it out. So.
And it all gets started on February 6th. Ty Steele is going to be following athletes with Metro Detroit Connection, sharing insights into the Italian culture, and I'm assuming the food. Ty's not going to go there and not get some good Italian food. And taking everyone behind the scenes of the Olympics. You can watch all of it right here on Local 4. All right, more news, more weather, and a live conversation with Detroit's new mayor, Mary Sheffield, when we come back. Stay with us here on Local 4 Plus.
Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
And we are in this forewarned weather alert because of the dangerous cold and the wind chills. This is just an example of how cold it is out there. Water and ice flooding a neighborhood near 8 Mile and Groesbeck on Detroit's east side. This is what it looks like over on Barlow. We're waiting to get confirmation if this work is because of a water main break, but it's kind of obvious what's going on out there. Crews did actually see a Detroit police cruiser stuck in the ice on the water there as well. Again, happening on Barlow near 8 Mile and Groesbeck. So if you live in that area, try to avoid the streets. We're going to continue to follow this and see how that might be affecting the houses and the neighborhoods there because of that break. Also, I'm taking a live look now at Metro Airport. The temperatures there just as dangerously cold in Romulus, where it is 6 degrees out, but it feels like it is below 14. In Southfield, it is not much better right now, 5 degrees, but the feels like temperature is 10 below. And let's go over to St. Clair County for a live look at an icy and cold St. Clair River in Port Huron. There it is 7 degrees, but it feels like negative 13. Well, thank you for being here on Local 4 Live on Tuesday. I'm Nick Monticelli. In a moment, we're going to be joined by Detroit Mayor Mary Sheffield to talk about this housing initiative she just unveiled yesterday and her first few weeks in office. But we do want to start with forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barassi to get some more insight on this cold weather and what could be another dangerous day on Friday, Ashley.
That's right. That's kind of the first episode of the dangerous cold we're dealing with for the week is what we're dealing with right now. And the advisory is set to lift in less than an hour, but it will be potentially even colder Thursday and likely Friday, especially with air temperatures dipping below zero. But here's a check at the latest feels like temperatures across town. Wind chill readings 11 below zero at Metro Airport, same in Pontiac, 13 below in Sandusky. But at least we've seen some improvement. Right now we have some single digit sub-zero readings, and we'll take whatever kind of improvement we can get. And so that will get us out of that advisory. So by 10 a.m., this advisory lifts, but there's already talk with the National Weather Service of seeing more cold weather alerts issued later on in the week. They haven't been issued yet. We'll make sure to keep you posted on that, but certainly we'll be dealing with the dangerous cold once again. Right now, a live look at Metro Airport, where we sit at 7. It's that southwesterly wind at 16 miles per hour that's not only brisk, but puts that bite in the air. It doesn't really matter the direction that's coming from. It's the strength of the wind right now that brings those sub-zero wind chills. 4 is the actual air temperature in Pontiac, and 9 in Grosse Ile and Port Huron. So we should get into the teens for highs today, but as we put this into perspective, 32 is our average this time of year, so still well below where we should be for the end of January. Mostly cloudy with a flake or two that'll continue to fly into the afternoon. Doesn't really amount to a whole lot. We stay in the teens through Thursday. Friday's the big day where I think we see even more school closures because the overnight low into Friday morning will be about 7 below zero without the wind chill, and we only get to about 11 for the afternoon high. We rebound just a smidge this weekend. We'll have more on this cold snap in your full forecast just ahead.
My gosh, actually 32 feels like margarita and beach weather compared to what we have right now. Many cities across the metro area offering places to warm up for those needing shelter. Over on clickondetroit.com, we have information on shelters in Detroit, Warren, Farmington Hills, and more. Also, those in the city of Detroit needing shelter after 6 p.m., you can call the Detroit Housing Resource Helpline. That information, that hotline, open 24 hours a day. Also, make sure you have that forewarn weather app at the ready. It's going to send you alerts directly to your phone when there is an advisory in your community. You can also get access to Exact Track 40 radar anytime while you're on the go. The trial for the man accused of killing Dee Warner is getting underway as we speak. Dale Warner is accused of killing his wife in 2021 and hiding her body inside of a tank on his property in Lenawee County. Jury selection is starting today after months of delays and motions from the defense to delay this case and move it out of Lenawee County. Our Lauren Kostick has been following this case. We'll have her full breakdown of how he got here in just a little bit coming up in the next half hour. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino is leaving Minneapolis this week, and the number of Border Patrol agents is being slashed. It's the latest move by the Trump administration since a border agent shot and killed Alex Preddy. Videos contradicting the government's account of what happened, and now Republicans and Democrats are calling for transparent investigations and oversight. Meanwhile, the Trump administration defending its top Homeland Security leadership.
Secretary Noem still has the utmost confidence and trust of the President of the United States.
Now, back here in Washtenaw County, ICE agents are now banned from entering county-owned buildings without a warrant. You can see protesters gathering to support that change last night. County employees are also banned from cooperating with ICE unless required by law. The resolution was created with the help of activists, including the group Movement for Immigration Rights Action. Taking a live look over the Capitol, a partial government shutdown is looming following that deadly shooting involving those agents. Several Democratic lawmakers plan to reject a bill funding the Department of Homeland Security because it includes funding for ICE. The deadline to avoid a shutdown is on Friday. All right, taking a live look at the Detroit area right now. You can see Windsor off in the background. The city is taking steps to protect housing for some of its most vulnerable residents. Yesterday, Mayor Mary Sheffield unveiled a new housing plan focused on seniors and people with disabilities. The plan is targeting apartment buildings that are not up to code with a focus on safety and accessibility issues. It includes more frequent inspections to make sure these Detroiters are living in safe, well-maintained homes. The goal is simple: keep people safe and ensure their homes meet the standards that they deserve. All right, we have just the person to talk to about this, our brand new Detroit Mayor, Mary Sheffield, which, by the way, I don't think we realized how hard it is to say Mayor Mary Sheffield.
We're all learning.
All right, this seems like basic common sense stuff.
Yeah.
Just take care of the folks who need some help, right?
Most definitely. And as someone who has served for 12 years in the city council, we consistently receive calls about the quality of life that our seniors were living in. And coming in as a new mayor, this was an easy priority for me to make sure that this administration was shifting focus on and to really demand that our building safety and engineering department come up with a plan to ensure that we're bringing these buildings up to code and ensuring that our seniors are living in dignified, safe, quality housing. And that is so, so important to me.
You know, the term slumlord is very deep and heavy. And I think there can be some instances of that in the city of Detroit, but not all.
Yeah.
But is that kind of your goal here, to look at these properties that are either horrifically maintained or just kind of fell by the wayside, make sure that people are living in safe conditions, dignified conditions?
I mean, ultimately, that's what we want. We have some who are good actors, and the city wants to proactively work with those individuals to make sure that they have the resources that they need to bring their properties up to code. But if you have some building owners who are negligent and consistently not responding to complaints, elevators are broken, there's complaints that are put in that are not addressed, those individuals must be addressed. And so we want to have a fair process where we're providing support to all of our landlords in Detroit, but we also have to keep in mind that these are seniors. These are people who are disabled, who should not be living in the condition in which they are. And so we're going to work with landowners who want to do right and come to the table, but we're also going to take firm action and legal action if we have to ensure that these buildings are up to compliance.
Okay, so let's talk about that firm action first. Then, are we talking about more code enforcement officers? Are we talking about police officers going in?
No, so there'll be more code enforcement throughout the buildings. We are going to have more frequently inspections of the buildings through some of our current BC inspectors. There will be more collaboration with the management companies on a consistent basis, which is not taking place right now. And if need be, there will be consent actions and legal actions on behalf of our law department. But again, that is the last resort. We want to provide resources and information to landlords to come into compliance ultimately for the safe and healthy health of our residents in Detroit.
Okay, so if I'm a landlord and I'm having building issues, let's say I can't afford to fix that elevator, can I come to the city for some help or some guidance?
So the idea is that we will hopefully be able to create some additional funding, because we know that there are people who want to do right. But funding is an issue. And so we're looking at different ways that we can provide possibly emergency repair fund for landlords who need assistance to bring buildings up to code. But there are some who just don't do it, right? And we find them, we give them tickets, and they just don't bring buildings up. They just don't care. They just don't care. And so we want to be able to differentiate the two and be able to provide support when needed. We have a goal of having 65 new certificate of compliances for buildings that are seniors reside by August of this year.
Do you have to add more code enforcement officers to pull this off?
So we have the existing ones that are already in place, and the idea is that we will now just shift the priorities and have them have more of a focus now on our senior living buildings.
Gotcha. Okay. In terms of complaints that you've heard, we hear about elevators and heat. That seems to be the two number one things that we get calls about.
Yep, elevators, heat, and safety. I would say safety. We hear a lot of our seniors are not safe in their buildings. They don't have 24-hour security. We also hear that they put in complaints or tickets for things within their apartment unit that are not being addressed. Basic quality of life, cleanliness within the building. All of these things are important. And again, these are our seniors. These are people who have given, right? They're all for this city. And I think we have to do our best to ensure that they're living in dignified and quality housing.
Which sets up perfectly my next question for you, is that it seems like a lot of these situations we have usually are most vulnerable, who are just being neglected.
Yes, most definitely. And that is why not only are we did we institute this 4-point plan, we also have senior advocates that are now going into senior buildings, helping seniors create tenant councils so that they can organize and demand better for themselves and their tenants there. Because at the end of the day, we want to ensure that they have a voice, that they're not disrespected as tenants and as seniors, and that their voices are addressed. And that is what the Senior Advocate Program is, and that is what this 4-point action plan is for senior housing as well.
I love that. Okay, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, normally we give you 100 days, but we're going to talk about your first 30.
All right.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. Again, we are joined by Detroit's brand new mayor, Mary Sheffield, talking about all things Detroit. And normally when a brand new politician goes into office, we talk about the first 100 days, but we have you now. So we'll give it, today's the 27th, your first 27 days in office. You came into office with some clear goals and clear plans. What are some of the top things that you really wanted to try to knock out of the park and get moving in your first 30 days?
Yeah, I mean, I think anything around people, investing in people, neighborhoods, families, and we launched the city's first ever RX Kids program, which will open up next month, and that is for moms and babies to have access to funding during the critical time of when a child is being formed. And then we also announced Luke Schaefer, who is coming on as our head of poverty and homelessness and housing in Detroit, who is going to really lead the work on how we reduce poverty in the city of Detroit. We also recently announced some grants for local entrepreneurs in the neighborhood to upgrade their technology. And so we are moving pretty fast, very excited about the work that we've accomplished. And we have more forthcoming announcements around neighborhood economic development, which is near and dear to my heart.
It's funny you say that because I remember specifically during your campaign, you and I had lots of conversations about how you were going to try to strike a good balance between maintaining the economic growth in the downtown area, but also bringing the neighborhoods into that and making sure that they see some of that prosperity.
Exactly, and I don't believe that the growth of downtown has to be at the detriment of our neighborhoods. I think you can have both. We have invested a lot in downtown Detroit, and I do believe it is time for more investment and a renewed focus on our neighborhoods. And so we're very excited about some forthcoming announcements around activating our commercial corridor, supporting small businesses, and ensuring that we're building more infill housing in our neighborhoods to ensure that we're addressing the priorities that Detroiters really clearly spoke to throughout this campaign. And that is, we love downtown, but we also love our neighborhoods, and we want to see more of investment within our corridors as well.
You want to make any announcements now? Any big programs you got coming up?
No, just stay tuned. I will just say RX Kids, again, that is for pregnant women throughout Detroit. All kids that are born in 2026 will have access to this program, which we're very proud of. So next month we'll have more information for all pregnant mothers to apply.
I love that. Let's talk about education here for a little bit. That was also something that we talked extensively about. And there's been so many conversations about what the city can do to help the schools. Now, obviously, you do not lead. You're not the superintendent of DPSCD, but there are things you can do on the social side of things to help with, the inequalities in the home and trying to make it so kids can get to the bus on time and back. Have you had conversations about this?
We have. I actually, right after my swearing-in ceremony, I went straight over to Pershing High School and spent time at that school with the superintendent, with the principal, with the students there, and just my presence there, I think, spoke a lot because they oftentimes do not see the mayor present within the educational system. So yes, we've had some very productive conversations. More information will be forthcoming in that space as well, too, as relates to how the city can be more supportive with transportation, after school programming to better support our students and the parents of DPSCD in our charter schools.
Also, I'm jumping all over the map here, but that's what you're here for.
That's no worries.
There was a great conversation at Pancakes and Politics at the auto show talking about how Detroit is definitely on the right path towards bringing larger events here, but we are still at such a critical shortage in terms of infrastructure, especially hotel rooms. Obviously, the brand new JW that's going up next to Cobo or Huntington, I think it's going to be one of those things where we always call it Cobo or call it like Pine Knob went back to Pine Knob, right? Is there anything your office can do to try to push that needle further and try to get more hotels built at a quicker pace?
I mean, I think ultimately when it comes to hotels or attracting large businesses or large-scale events, is making it easier to do business in Detroit and making sure people know that Detroit is open for business. We are trying to attract large transformational projects in Detroit, but also smaller ones in our neighborhoods. And ultimately, the barriers that oftentimes businesses face in Detroit can deter people from coming here. And so, yes, we're trying to build more hotels. We're trying to make it easier. We're trying to reduce property taxes, which is a huge burden for a lot of businesses in our city, to really cultivate an environment that makes it easier for people to want to come and do business in our city.
So let's talk property taxes, not just for businesses, but for residents too. What are your thoughts there on trying to get those down?
Well, my thoughts are that we need to lower them, right? We have some of the highest property taxes in the state, and it is not an easy fix. It is going to take a road to Lansing, which we know sometimes getting things done in Lansing can be difficult difficult. But we are very hopeful. We have a working group that we're starting right now with stakeholders who can really lend their input on what is the best way to move forward as it relates to property tax reform. We know that in order for us to have property taxes that are similar to other major cities, it would take about a 60% reduction, which means we would have to find about $400 million in revenue to replace that reduction. And so that really is the question. Is it a local sales option tax or an entertainment tax or a land value again? Do we reconsider that proposal? And so these are conversations that we're having. Ultimately, the residents of Detroit will be included in this discussion because they ultimately probably will have to vote on a ballot initiative if we move forward in some regard. But we do know that that is a major detriment to the growth of Detroit, both for our businesses and our neighborhoods.
Well, you started exploring the local sales tax option. It sounds like the report said it probably wasn't the greatest idea.
So they do generate a significant amount of revenue, but again, it doesn't get us to $400 million. So the idea is that you have to couple it with other things. Is it an entertainment tax? Maybe with the land value tax, maybe with something else. I think we have to figure out what is best for our city and what is the least detrimental for our residents and our businesses as well.
Right. Okay, last question for you. Again, 27 days in, but I do want to ask you, what would you like to see your administration accomplish in the next 100 days?
The next 100 days, I would say kind of low-hanging fruit that we're really working on is the first ever Office of Community and Neighborhood Safety. We are very close to creating this office, which will really treat gun violence as a public health crisis in the city of Detroit from a public health lens. It will ensure, just making sure that we're looking at the human side, right? Why does somebody pick up a gun in the first place and create violence in our community? It's because of some of the social issues, maybe mental health, education, lack of mentorship, lack of a family, whatever the issue may be, we want to address it from a public health side. And so we have done a tremendous job with our community violence intervention work throughout 7 areas of Detroit. We want to build upon that, but also make sure conflict resolution is taught, right, within our communities, and that people have access to the social help that they need as well to help reduce gun violence. So
I think
that office is going to be
in 100 days.
Yes,
that's
it's
incredible.
coming. It will get done in 100 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Detroit Mayor Mary Sheffield. Again, Mayor Mary Sheffield. Have you had to practice it too?
I'm practicing.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. All right, coming up here, the chance of snow and even colder weather in Ashley's forecast. She's going to join us to say why you probably will have another snow day / cold weather school day coming up on Friday when we come back.
Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
So the extreme cold will continue to brace much of the nation, not just today, but in the days ahead. But let's focus on the cold from the plains to the southeast for today. Cold air likely bringing record low temperatures today through portions of not just the southeast, but going all the way up towards New York City, D.C., and down into Houston and Dallas. And so when those records go in the books later on today, we'll likely see some of those records broken. Now, the setup all has to do with this polar jet stream, or you hear the phrase the polar vortex. And so that polar jet stream breaking off of the pole, and that's bringing the below average conditions from the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, down into the south and the eastern portion of the U.S. We are well below average for today. We should be in the low 30s, only topping out in the teens. We don't even have freezing in sight in the next 7 days as the cold weather will continue. Let's kind of recap where we've been. You see a lot of blue on the calendar for the month of January. We've spent most of the month below average, only one record high day and a handful of days that came in above average. But as we look at the rest of the week and heading into the weekend, we'll be adding more blue to the calendar before we flip the page. Satellite and radar, where we've had some snow throughout the morning and that's subsiding through the afternoon, but we hold on to the sub-zero wind chills. In fact, we do have a little bit of clearing heading into the evening, and so we will have those temperatures falling below zero again through the overnight. Probably not quite as cold tomorrow morning, but awfully close. Then we're even colder by the tail end of the weekend. So let's go ahead and look at your clouds and radar forecast, as we do have maybe a few more lake effect snow bands through mid-afternoon, a little clearing through the overnight, as I mentioned, and then heading into your Wednesday is where we do have a chance for a couple more flurries to fly. Not amounting to a whole lot when it comes to the accumulation, but tell you what, we've had a whole lot of snow so far for the season. I was looking at some of the records for December 1st up until today, which that's what would be meteorological winter, and we have more than double of what we had at this point last year. If you count what we had in November, overall just a little over 33 inches of snow so far for the entire season. But clouds and radar forecast, let's show you something as we look ahead to the end of the week. We have another potential winter system that's going to be developing, a massive winter storm that could be along the eastern seaboard as we head into the weekend. So just showing you this, if you have travel plans, make sure you stay in tune with what the forecast is along the East Coast, because there could be another winter wall up there through the weekend. For us, we're just in and out of a few flurries, but staying bitterly cold. Let me point out the overnight low Thursday night to Friday morning. I want this to draw your attention to this, because there could be the potential for some school closures come Friday. This is going to be a colder morning, 7 below without the wind chill, likely 20 below with the wind chill, and we will have highs only in the low double digits at best, falling below zero for overnight lows Friday night into Saturday. Stepping out of the way so you can see the weekend forecast, highs only on either side of 20 and still holding on to low 20s going into next week.
Welcome back, everybody. Good news for home buyers in 2026, especially in Detroit. Zillow named Detroit one of the most buyer-friendly housing markets among the 50 largest U.S. cities. That means more affordable homes, less competition, and better chances to negotiate without stress. Prices are cooling now, with appreciation expected to rise, making it a great time to buy, although you just heard the mayor talking about the property tax issue in Detroit. A median household can afford a home with a mortgage payment under 30% of their income. Zillow senior economist says buyers have room to breathe and time to make some smart decisions. Well, Detroit is one of the best markets to buy, but let's talk about where Michigan's young adults are moving and where they're leaving. Marquette County saw its 25 to 34-year-old population grow by nearly 20% between 2000 and 2020. Overall, that age group dropped about 4% across the state. Other counties with big gains include Kent, home to Grand Rapids, and Grand Traverse, where Traverse City is. Counties like Luce and Ontonagon lost 20% or more of their young adults. Experts say jobs, economy, and access to city life and nature are driving these shifts. It's not just groceries and rent. Healthcare is putting new pressure on budgets in 2026 as well. Across public and private insurance plans, many people are facing higher premiums and out-of-pocket costs. Consumer Reports reveals 5 smart steps to lower medical bills and avoid paying more than you have to. Here's Rhonda Walker.
Whether it's your monthly premium bill, prescriptions, or co-pays, millions of us are paying more for health care. And that's even if you didn't switch your insurance for 2026. You might still be in for costly changes. Lisa Gills is an investigative reporter with Consumer Reports. She says that there are a few things that you can do to cut healthcare costs and start by taking some time to understand what the plan you choose covers.
Plans change every year. They work with different doctors, different pharmacies. They may even cover different medications from year to year.
To avoid unexpected changes, you'll want to work with doctors and hospitals that are in network and have partnered with your insurance to offer pre-negotiated rates. Most insurance websites have a Find a Doctor tool. And you can also call the clinic of your choice to verify they'll accept your plan. And if you take prescription meds, don't just refill and pay. Ask your doctor or pharmacist if there is a generic option and whether there are manufacturer coupons or other discounts. That can mean instant savings every month. And remember, generics have to meet the same safety and effectiveness standards as the brand name drugs. And if you're overwhelmed by a hospital bill, ask about financial assistance or charity care. Many hospitals have programs that can reduce your balance or even wipe it out depending on your income.
One heads up, you may have to apply several times to prove that you're qualified.
Finally, don't overlook your community health center. These nonprofit clinics offer primary care. Some also provide dental and mental health services, focusing on uninsured, underinsured, and low-income patients. And many charge on a sliding fee scale based on your income and family size.
And that was Rhonda Walker reporting. Another tip from Consumer Reports, consider a health savings account or a flexible spending account. Both of those let you contribute pre-tax money from your paycheck to cover healthcare costs, including deductibles, over-the-counter medications, and even contact lenses, saving you lots of money. All right, when we come back, we're going to get an update on that water main break impacting Detroiters right now. And then Metro Airport addressing concerns over security after that driver plows through the McNamara terminal. I don't know if I can make it to the last night.
Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
And we have that alert in effect for every inch of Metro Detroit because of the dangerously cold temperatures. This is a live look at Detroit right now where the air temps are 5, but the feels like negative 14. In Macomb County, it's 7 degrees in Mount Clemens, but it feels like 11 below. The cold isn't the only issue, though. There's also a chance of some snow and the possibility of some dangerous snow squalls that create whiteout conditions. Forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barassi will be here in just a few to track this brutal winter weather that's still ahead. Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. I'm Nick Bonacelli. That cold weather causing some problems, cold weather, I should say, for Detroiters all around Detroit's east side. Those living on Barlow near 8 Mile and Groesbeck are waking up to a wet and freezing mess. As Shantae Passmore shows us, it's making it difficult for cars to get through.
Hey there, with each passing moment, we're starting to get a better idea of what's happening here as far as how much this water is rising, where it's spreading. In fact, you can see right here off in the distance, that is the water we believe is coming from a water main break. We are waiting to get confirmation if that is the case here. In fact, just a few yards away, you can see just how high the water has risen thus far along those trash cans right there. And off in the distance, one got knocked to its side right there. Earlier this morning, we actually saw at least 2 cars, including a Detroit police cruiser, stuck in this intersection in this neighborhood. We did see that the police car got towed away, but then the woman and the other sedan actually was just waiting for roadside assistance or perhaps a family to come help her out. So our photojournalist Eric Lewis, alongside some neighbors and 2 of the Detroit officers, helped her get out of this icy intersection. It took a little bit, but she gained some traction and she got on her way. She told me she was simply just getting off of work and was trying to go home and decided to use this as a cut through. And then she found herself in a bit of trouble. Now, it's not clear how long the water has been rising here, if other areas in this neighborhood could be a concern, if they could be at risk of what we're seeing here. But we do have 2 Detroit officers, or 2 Detroit police cruisers, I should say, that are blocking the intersection to make sure that people are aware of what's happening here. As soon as we learn more, we'll pass it to you on air and, of course, on clickondetroit.com. We're on the city's east side. Shantae Passmore, Local 4.
All right, Shantae, thank you. Happening tonight in Macomb County, Chesterfield Township is looking to get ahead of the data center debate. The township is holding a meeting tonight to listen to the community and try to set some rules. I talked to the township supervisor about if there's any plans for data centers now.
Me as a leader, from speaking for myself, I want to hear all about them. I want to learn about them. I want to know about them and see what the impact is. You know, there's I've heard the different arguments. You know, they're a drag on the water system, they're a drag on the DTE network, they're a drag on some municipal services. But then you listen to the counter, and I've been at SEMCOG meetings where they've discussed these, and the impact doesn't seem to be that great. Water capacity usage, and then obviously the power generation and service to the data centers seems to be a topic and a question. But then on the legislative side, what I've learned just is the legislative side has said that those things can't impact your residents. The DT, the user rates can't go up or be increased because of them. So without having one, again, the best approach, I thought, and the other trustees, was to get it out in front of everybody and let's at least get educated and find out what the facts and truths are. So I'm undecided. I want to learn about them. I want to know about them, and I think the other trustees and elected officials want to do the same. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that our ordinances and our any building proposals, if should they come, we're at least current on them.
All right, tonight's meeting is at 7 o'clock at the Chesterfield Township Municipal Offices over on Sugar Bush Road. The board says they're welcoming comments from everybody on this matter. A chaotic incident at Detroit Metro went viral, and it's raising some pretty big security questions. Let's show you some video now of that car after it crashed through McNamara Terminal into the Delta ticket counter. The driver was taken into custody and is believed to have been experiencing some kind of mental health crisis. 6 people were treated for minor injuries, but nobody was seriously hurt. Now, many are wondering how that driver was able to get through some of those security posts that are all along the front entrance.
I was shocked. I mean, I don't know how fast a guy could have been going to get there. I mean, he would have to turn and then go straight through. So it's like how that even played out just shocks me. I mean, I don't even know how this all happened. It's just crazy.
Now, in a statement, a spokesperson with the Wayne County Airport Authority said as a result of this incident, the WCAA is reviewing our safety and security measures and will make any improvements or adjustments as necessary. As for the driver, the prosecutor's office is waiting to review that case to decide if he will face any charges. Right now, the trial for the man accused of killing Dee Warner is getting started. Dale Warner is accused of killing his wife in 2021 and hiding her body inside of an ammonia tank on his property. Jury selection is starting today after months of delays and motions from the defense to delay and try to move the case out of Lenawee County. Our Lauren Kostick dug into that case that goes back several years.
She was a mother of 5 who just vanished. Her body discovered years later, not far from home. April 25th, 2021. 52-year-old Dee Warner vanished from her home on Munger Road in Franklin Township.
Well, I don't know if she's missing or if she just left.
She told friends she planned to meet her husband, Dale Warner, and was never seen again.
Began in Franklin Township in Lenawee County, where state police, the FBI, and the Lenawee County Sheriff's Office are searching fields in connection to a woman who went missing earlier this year.
This really hits close to home. There's a lot of people that this has impacted.
Family had their suspicions, but for years no one knew what really happened. The search went on, family held out hope, and investigators dug up countless properties. In August 2022, Michigan State Police took over the investigation from the Lenawee County Sheriff's Office. Then, in November 2023, without a body, Dale Warner was arrested.
Dale Warner, the husband of Dee Warner, has been formally charged with her murder.
Who would have ever thought that in this little tiny town, on this little country road, that we'd have to be talking about a murder?
Attorneys believed they could prove Dee was dead and Dale was responsible.
One of the last things that my mom said to me was, I watch Dateline like every night and he could do something like that to me.
She's gone. She took all her bags.
Body camera video released in court showed police questioning Dale the day after Dee's disappearance. Dale acted as if nothing unusual happened.
So somebody picked her up. So she's with someone somewhere.
But the most chilling discovery was yet to come. On August 16th, 2024, state police found human remains hidden inside a sealed tank on Dale's property.
The human remains found on Dale Warner's property were that of his wife, Dee Warner.
Days later, dental records would confirm the remains were Dee's. Dee's brother, Greg Hardy, gave Local 4 an exclusive look inside the barn where she was found.
These are the type of tanks they are. And if you'll notice, there's a seam right here, okay? And that appears to be where the seam was cut. And then this cap taken off. And then her body put in that way.
The case grew darker in March 2025 when Dale's son, Jaron Warner, was arrested for tampering with evidence and being an accessory, though charges were dropped in May. Over the months, Dale's defense team filed several motions to slow the case, including a request to move the trial out of the county, but that was denied.
Significant community opinion that appears to exist to a large part to Mr. Warner's detriment.
Now, 5 years later, Dale Warner is finally set to face a long-awaited murder trial, a trial that promises to unravel years of secrets.
Now, Lauren Kostick is actually at the courthouse in Lenawee County right now to follow jury selection. She's going to have live updates in our later newscast and on clickondetroit.com and our social media pages. Just know 700 people were sent summons for a jury selection, so this could take a couple of days, if not weeks. Still ahead, a big change for a popular grocery store in Metro Detroit, and we're going to go back to Minneapolis, where there is a big shakeup in the Trump administration after another American was shot and killed by ICE agents. Let's take a live look at Minneapolis right now. Big changes coming to Border Patrol. Commander Greg Bavino is heading out this week, and the number of Customs and Border Patrol agents is set to drop, according to sources. This comes after a border agent shot and killed Alex Preddy, and videos are raising questions about the official story. Now Republicans are pushing for a full, transparent investigation and more oversight. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Hi there. Key changes in the Trump administration's strategy in Minneapolis come amid bipartisan backlash over the city's second killing this month of an American citizen by federal law enforcement, though the White House remains focused on its immigration crackdown. ICE will be beat. A shifting landscape in Minneapolis this morning, where the outcry over federal agents shooting 37-year-old Alex Preddy to death is prompting the Trump administration to shake up its leadership on the ground and reduce the number of Border Patrol agents there. That's according to an administration official and a law enforcement source. State and local officials have been pressing for a federal agent pullout.
What justifies this disproportionate flood? Nothing legitimate.
The White House confirming border czar Tom Homan will now head up operations in Minneapolis, with the controversial Border Patrol commander Greg Bavino moving out, according to two sources, and the administration defending its top Homeland Security leadership.
Secretary Noem still has the utmost confidence and trust of the President of the United States.
DHS Secretary Noem now scheduled to testify on Capitol Hill amid mounting bipartisan frustration. Republican Senator John Curtis saying he disagreed with Noem's, quote, premature DHS response before all the facts were known in the Preddy shooting, weakening confidence, he says. A growing number of GOP lawmakers calling for an independent investigation, as multiple cell phone videos verified and analyzed by NBC News contradict the Trump administration's initial description, suggesting Preddy was a domestic terrorist. Local officials say he was legally carrying his gun. Outside the Minneapolis VA hospital, where Preddy worked as an ICU nurse, a growing memorial and mounting grief from past patients.
He held my hand and he told me things were going to get better.
That now a devout wish for a city in turmoil. In a major shift in tone, President Trump is now suggesting he could work with Democratic officials in Minnesota after calls with the governor and Minneapolis mayor, both of whom he's been slamming for weeks. They have been at odds. The Democrats saying the president agreed the situation on the ground cannot continue. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
Alice, thank you. Back here at home, we are expecting to get an update on public transportation throughout Metro Detroit and how it's changing in the new year. Tonight, Detroit Mayor Mary Sheffield is joining leaders from Wayne and Oakland counties, along with leaders from DDOT and SMART. They're going to talk about new investments and an upcoming ballot proposal in Wayne County that would require all communities to offer SMART bus service. All right, we know that schools have used up a lot of snow days lately. Coming up next, we're going to give you a check of the temperatures later this week and why you might be having another snow day on Friday.
Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
So the extreme cold will continue to brace much of the nation, not just today, but in the days ahead. But let's focus on the cold from the plains to the southeast for today. Cold air likely bringing record low temperatures today through portions of not just the southeast, but going all the way up towards New York City, D.C., and down into Houston and Dallas. And so when those records go in the books later on today, we'll likely see some of those records broken. Now, the setup all has to do with this polar jet stream, or you hear the phrase the polar vortex. And so that polar jet stream breaking off of the pole, and that's bringing the below average conditions from the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, down into the south and the eastern portion of the U.S. We are well below average for today. We should be in the low 30s, only topping out in the teens. We don't even have freezing in sight in the next 7 days as the cold weather will continue. Let's kind of recap where we've been. You see a lot of blue on the calendar for the month of January. We've spent most of the month below average, only one record high day and a handful of days that came in above average. But as we look at the rest of the week and heading into the weekend, we'll be adding more blue to the calendar before we flip the page. Satellite and radar, where we've had some snow throughout the morning, and that's subsiding through the afternoon, but we hold on to the sub-zero wind chills. In fact, we do have a little bit of clearing heading into the evening, and so we will have those temperatures falling below zero again through the overnight. Probably not quite as cold tomorrow morning, but awfully close. Then we're even colder by the tail end of the weekend. So let's go ahead and look at your clouds and radar forecast, as we do have maybe a few more lake effect snow bands through mid-afternoon, a little clearing through the overnight, as I mentioned, and then heading into your Wednesday is where we do have a chance for a couple more flurries to fly. Not amounting to a whole lot when it comes to the accumulation, but tell you what, we've had a whole lot of snow so far for the season. I was looking at some of the records for December 1st up until today, which that's what would be meteorological winter, and we have more than double of what we had at this point last year. If you count what we had in November, overall just a little over 33 inches of snow so far for the entire season. But clouds and radar forecast, let's show you something as we look ahead to the end of the week. We have another potential winter system that's going to be developing, a massive winter storm that could be along the eastern seaboard as we head into the weekend. So just showing you this, if you have travel plans, make sure you stay in tune with what the forecast is along the East Coast, because there could be another winter wall up there through the weekend. For us, we're just in and out of a few flurries, but staying bitterly cold. Let me point out the overnight low Thursday night to Friday morning. I want this to draw your attention to this, because there could be the potential for some school closures come Friday. This is going to be a colder morning, 7 below without the wind chill, likely 20 below with the wind chill, and we will have highs only in the low double digits at best, falling below zero for overnight lows Friday night into Saturday. Stepping out of the way so you can see the weekend forecast, highs only on either side of 20 and still holding on to low 20s going into next week.
Well, before the Olympic spotlight shines in Italy, 2 Team USA ice dancers are getting a hometown send-off. Last night, friends and family filled the Novi Ice Arena, where Olympic dreams are taking shape for 2 young athletes. Hungary to make a name for themselves on the world's biggest stage. Here's Ty Steele.
On most days, the sound inside this rink is blades cutting ice.
Hey, how are you?
Good. But tonight at Novi Ice Arena,
You saw my skater Of course.
the noise is different. It's excitement, laughter, pride.
I used to be a host. That's how I know. Do you want me to sign here?
Because ice dancing duo Emilia Zingis and Vadim Kolesnik are meeting their fans
Do you like skating? Do you skate here?
after earning their spot on Team USA.
Heading to the Olympics to cap off what's been a sensational season.
I'm very grateful and appreciative of everyone who's helped us on this journey. It's really been a collaborative effort.
For Emilia, a girl from Grosse Pointe Farms, this ice arena shaped her. From learning the basics to building a winning partnership.
When you spend so much time with someone, you have the same goal. You must have some kind of special relationship, you know, and that's how I think about us.
Vadim followed a different path, but landed in the same place, right here in Novi, building something that didn't happen fast, but happened right.
I'm very excited for them. It couldn't happen to the better people. They work so hard, and they prove that it's possible. They're probably going to be youngest one on the team, and it's unbelievable.
It's been a really exciting time.
I bet.
Tonight, there are no podiums, just hugs, autographs, and fans who want to say, we saw this coming.
You guys are great. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
I knew you'd end up here.
In a handful of days, they'll be skating in Italy under brighter lights with higher stakes.
You never know, expect the unexpected. You know, we're there for fun. Well, for me, I just want to make my parents proud and enjoy my time, but who knows, maybe we'll get somewhere there.
But before the world sees them, Metro Detroit gets one last moment to send them off from the place where it all quietly began.
At the end of the day, we're both really competitive people, and it's a competition, so we're ready to fight to skate our best.
We're cheering for you both.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you so much.
It all gets started on February 6th, and Ty is going to be following Emilia Zingis and Vadim Kolesnik, as well as all the other athletes from Metro Detroit with those connections, sharing insights into the Italian culture and the food, and taking everybody behind the scenes of the Olympics. You can watch it all right here on Local 4. And of course, we have so much more coming out throughout the day here on Local 4. Tati and Kim from Live in the D here to talk about what's happening on Live in the D, which starts in an hour and 5 minutes.
5 minutes. We're ready to go. How are you?
Tired.
Okay. Nick is the man. If
He keeps
anyone
it real.
He does. Anyone who's out there, Nick stays on his grind. We appreciate it. We
Yeah,
respect
sure.
it.
Just the makeup covering up those black dark circles.
Oh,
in the
geez.
Listen, I know what you need. I know exactly what you need.
Red Bull?
No.
Oh.
Because it's the new year. We're on a healthy kick.
Kim was like, no.
You need to go to Health and Soul Cafe. That is what we are having on our show today.
Okay.
Takeout Tuesday.
Yes.
You got to sell me on this.
You need some good green juice in your system.
Smoothie.
Get out of here with
Something
this stuff.
healthy.
It's funny though, because I was looking at the website. They've got like the smoothies, the juices. But then I also saw a lobster roll.
That's for you.
So I don't know where that falls in, but we're gonna find out
That's
today
makes
when
my
they're
deal.
on
I
our.
mean, I think you can eat the lobster roll, wash it down with the green juice.
No,
It gains the calories.
no.
I did recently read that a little bit. Too many people are not having butter, and it's actually bringing our health down.
Yeah.
We need real butter.
Yeah,
We're
I've
having
heard the
Both
same thing.
understand that Director Ashley is looking like she wants to puke back there. Just
Oh,
thinking
really?
about green juice and
Green
lobster.
juice and lobster? No, it's a no for you, Ashley.
I love
It's a
both
no?
of those things. I don't know about
She's like-
together, but yes, we're having them on the show today, and it's going to be a great show. We're also going to be highlighting this program that you can do with Michigan Humane, which is like a sleepover with one of the dogs. Take them home one night away from the shelter.
It's like rent a puppy.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that.
I know. And
Very
maybe
Maybe he never goes home.
Exactly.
Maybe the dog is
Or
home.
never goes. Yeah.
The dog
Those
is
are going
home.
to happen.
Yeah.
All right, Live in the D starts in an hour and 3 minutes. Make it a great Tuesday, everybody.